What's going on is Anton from AntonDaniels.com. I appreciate you guys for continuing to rock with me. 99% of the wounds that I have are self-inflicted. It's as a result of the things that I've done for myself. Most people are unwilling and unable, whether it be because they have some kind of mental block or they have some kind of trauma in their life, they're unable to take personal responsibility and accountability for what it is that's happening in their life. And the problem with that is that they then either torpedo themselves or they're unable to go past into the next level. And so when you see stuff like this happen, so let's just say, for example, I call it the victim Olympics, and people often at times will have issues and problems in their life that are unresolved personally. Not as a result of somebody else. Maybe you need to forgive somebody. Maybe you need to move a little bit differently so that you can get in a different network, right? Oh, man. Maybe you need to move a little bit differently so you can get in a different network. Maybe you need to humble yourself a little bit more so that you can then be promoted. Maybe you need to learn how to market yourself a little bit differently, but because you're so stubborn, you're unable to hear it from somebody else that can actually add value into your life. What happens is you then have these self-inflicted wounds because you're too haughty and you're too high up on your horse in order to humble yourself in specific situations that would allow for you to be a lot more successful. And so as a result, you poor, you broke, you destitute, you lonely, you stupid, you dumb. And you're more focused on how people say things to you versus the message or the results or anything like that. I always say that I focus on the results. The results are the only thing that matters. Now, I do think that there are situations, and that's why I say 99% of the things that's happened to you are self-inflicted, or me personally. I do think that there are things that happen outside of of what it is that we have control over that sometimes can determine your fate. But like, for example, I'm watching and I'm looking at everything that's happening with Ye, right? And he's recently gotten suspended from Twitter again as a result of a tweet that he's recently had, right? And the tweet was of a swastika, apparently. And so the way that my brain works is that I first try to understand before I judge so that I can better have the conversation. But in no way, shape, or form can I try to understand this to the point to where I can justify the logic behind why it is that he did it. Now, I'm not sure if he's ever gonna speak about it. I'd love to have him on a platform. Not saying that it's ever gonna happen. If it does, it does. If it doesn't, it doesn't. It is what it is. But how can we justify the behavior? Like, how can we justify not suspending Ye? Now, there are people that will say, well, it should be free speech. You should be able to say what you want to say when you want to say it. But then at what point do we cross a threshold to where we take advantage of that narrative and we start going a little bit overboard? Like, at what point, and now you talking to a person, I don't care whether or not you put a swastika up. I don't care what you put up. None of it matters to me because none of it affects me personally, right? And I'm a person that is largely an advocate for Ye. Ye can really do no wrong to the point to where it would ever have me in a space where I think that I wouldn't rock with him, right? Like, if Ye dropped the product today, I'm definitely gonna rock with him. We rock with all of these different products from all of these different brands that has done some of the most egregious and said some of the most egregious things to us. But now we're gonna sit here and try to say that we wouldn't rock with Ye simply because he make a mistake or he say something or does something that does not align with what it is that we rocking with. Largely, Ye has told the truth and he's said things that I rock with. And I don't agree with 100% of anything that anybody says, but then, we'll throw away Ye, but then we won't throw away these brands just because they make us feel good or we clout chasing. Anyway, neither here or there. My point is that at this point or at some points, Ye can say something that completely goes against the grain and I'll 100% agree with him, right? Yeah, Adidas stole his designs, and yeah, Hollywood is crazy and his kids shouldn't be in that situation. But then on the flip side of it, you can say, well, he married the chick that he then had a bunch of kids with, and is closely aligned with the brand that's actually against him. That was your choice. You got to take personal responsibility and ownership of that self-inflicted wound. You can say, yep, the industry is against him and they're trying to cancel him and cancel culture and all this other type of stuff. But then when you go out and you tweet a swastika, how can we not justify the suspension of your Twitter account? You know what I'm saying? And so you're trying to figure it out. You're trying to balance and understand the genius and pit that against the truth. And then you throw in a bunch of other cocktails like cancel culture and Twitter and all of this other type of stuff, which Twitter is my favorite platform right now. Shout out to Elon Musk. I never even would have thought of rocking with Twitter until Elon Musk bought it. I don't know how we can't at some point not point the finger and look out the window instead of looking in the mirror at some times. Like, it's not always everybody else's fault. And so although I rock with Ye 100%, and although I agree with Kyrie Irving 100%, I haven't always agreed with Kyrie Irving. Now, that has nothing to do with the individual situations in which I think that we need to look at them individually, and we need to look at it holistically as far as the entire picture, right? When you summarize somebody's life or you summarize what they add into society, you can't narrow that down by just looking at just one thing or two things that they did that you agreed or you didn't agree with. You have to look at it in its totality. And in its totality, I actually like Ye and Kyrie and everybody else or whatever, so on and so forth. It may be some things that you don't necessarily care for or like about me, but that doesn't mean that overall that I'm not right or I'm not a good person or I don't add value into life, and that you shouldn't completely align yourself and make sure you subscribe, hit a like for the YouTube algorithm, and then turn on your notifications. Doesn't mean that you should not tap into the Patreon, where I add the most value so that you can double and triple your income. And we give you all of the great game and entertainment from a financial perspective. Just like I just dropped the video last night of former Detroit Mayor Kwame Kilpatrick, and he breaks down all of the atrocities and the issues that's happening within a political spectrum. Who better to understand the system than the man that was railroaded by it? Go and check that out. Tomorrow I'm dropping another Charleston White interview inside of the Patreon, and we're doing a Patreon exclusive, and we're doing a Patreon meetup in Miami for New Year's Eve, and we're doing a Patreon retreat, and we're doing an investor series and invest in your business where I'm going to fund your businesses. But that's a completely different conversation. My point is that I want you guys to comment on what you think makes the most sense and how it is that we're supposed to toe the line between personal responsibility and holding other people accountable for the situation that they put us in. That's all I'm saying. What are your thoughts? How do you feel about this whole situation? And are the wounds that we often have as a result of something that happened to us, or are they self-inflicted? Let me know what your thoughts are. I love you. I appreciate you. I'm going to holler at you later. Peace.